Hai para innovators Indonesia. Sebelum kita beranjak lebih jauh, apa sih harapan terbesar agar inovasi kalian dapat terakselerasi di market? Support akses ke market, sales channel, fasilitas pendukung inkubasi, seperti lab, cloud server, dan perangkat? Apakah kalian salah satu dari para innovator yang memiliki harapan tersebut? Introducing Telkomsel Innovation Center.
Business model or idea, please speak to a venture capital investor first.
If you got good idea and everything right now, find a good partners because I think it will long last and make the companies even forward, right?
Halo Thinkers, kembali lagi ke Think Talks, acara dari Telkomsel dan dengan saya Tamara Gondo. Apa sih yang investor looking for in founders? Tentu startup is a perjalanan yang banyak lika-likunya dan nggak cukup cuman mempunyai strategi yang bagus atau inovatif, tapi juga kita harus mempunyai cara berkomunikasi dan tahu skill-skill yang diperlukan untuk mendapatkan investor. Think Talks persembahan Telkomsel Accelerator Program untuk menunjukkan bukti nyata untuk mensupport ekosistem inovasi digital. Nah, hari ini kita kedatangan dua panelist amazing dan aku akan kenalkan dulu dari satu, Melvin Hadi.
Thank you, Tamara. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
How are you feeling today?
Good. It's a bright day. Jakarta is back to normal, I guess. So it's a good time to be here.
Ini kalau GFC ini investnya di startup yang hot and new and rising ya?
Yeah, hopefully. But we focus in early stage companies. So GFC or Global Founders Capital itu is a VC fund di mana kita invest in early stage companies at pre-seed atau seed stage. Jadi tahap pendanaan awal banget. And then untuk our portfolio companies, we have the mandate juga untuk continue investing in the company throughout the life cycle of the company. Jadi participating in growth stage, etc. Untuk sektornya sendiri, kita lumayan agnostic. Jadi kita do not only look at certain sector. Jadi from consumer tech to fintech, all the way to B2B software enterprise solution is something that is in our mandate. Jadi kita juga lumayan flexible in terms of sector.
Nice. Dan kalau GFC punya 18 offices around the world,
Yep.
Satunya di Indonesia dan Melvin ini partner.
Correct.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Next, kita ada Nazir Arifin.
Hello, Tamara.
Hi, Head of Strategic Investment di Telkomsel.
Yep,
One of the largest telco in Indonesia for 26 years nih.
for 26 years.
Yes. Can you maybe a little bit share about Telkomsel punya investment arm?
Okay, yeah, I think thank you, for inviting me. I think me is been part of the thing and also Telkomsel startup community for the past 4 years ya. Jadi nggak kerasa udah lama juga di Telkomsel. So since early 2019, Telkomsel started to investing much more deeper into the tech communities. Then Telkomsel masuk ke dunia investing through two different arms lah. The first one is kita invest out of the Telkomsel. Gimana caranya? Memang it's a much more later stage investment yang fokusnya gimana caranya we embrace direct support lewat Telkomsel asset, resource, and network ke sebuah company yang memang ready to lebih later stage dan lebih ready untuk akhirnya apakah itu IPO atau mungkin going to some direct sales and everything lah ya. That's when into companies like Gojek, Link Aja, and few others like Mitatel dan beberapa company lainnya. Nah, yang kedua ini agak sedikit lebih early. We call it TMI Fund. Jadi memang fokusnya lebih ke arah, kalau tadi direct, kalau ini indirect and long tails gitu kan. Gimana caranya fokusnya investing in the mid stage, early growth stage untuk akhirnya kita lihat kira-kira apa nih yang Telkomsel dan startup bisa akhirnya doing together dan memang akhirnya ngebantu startup itu untuk akhirnya bisa lebih tumbuh melalui aset kita dan resources kita gitu kan. I think we've been doing it also for almost more than 2 years. Invested around 16 companies, 16 gitu kan. That ranging from Halodoc, Si Cepat, Kredivo, and few others. Jadi emang kita lihat ini for startups to know exactly what's happening in Indonesia, Telkomsel and the ecosystem ada Think, ada Next Dev, ready to support, ready to empower, and ready to go together with the tech companies to thrive together lah.
Jadi a part of your portfolio pasti mendapatkan akses ke Telkomsel yang luas ini dan bisa disupport salah satunya mungkin ya.
Hopefully, yep, that would be the promise.
Oke. Nah, sekarang kita mau coba mengerti dari kan Nazir udah lama di dunia investasi. Kayak gimana sih landscape-nya sekarang di Indonesia itu? Is there another trend yang you lihat is upcoming nih di Indonesia sendiri?
Kita bisa bilang, kita bisa expect lah mungkin dulu pandemi ini kayaknya health tech lagi trendnya, edutech lagi trendnya. Tapi memang posisinya when it comes to the real trend, memang yang resulting the real engagement lah with your users gitu kan. I think banyak banget kemarin edtech companies yang juga mati gitu kan, health tech company yang juga nggak thriving karena simply nggak building the real solutions ceritanya buat the users, right? Turns out memang what will be the next trend itu we saw yang tadi itu. Gimana caranya you got much more users attentions towards their mobile gitu kan, apapun itu gitu kan, because I think 70%, 70-75% of Indonesians itu kita lihat dari our data internally wouldn't be that much moving dari kebiasaan mereka selama pandemi gitu loh. Jadi because they got more screen time, more activities on the mobiles, apa nih yang bisa dia enhance gitu kan. So I think we expect that mobile driven solutions mungkin bakal thriving gitu kan. And I think sekarang juga imagine the ARPU jadi kayak rata-rata pengeluaran orang Indonesia ya, di spending, apakah itu games, belanja, apakah itu spending telco, itu sama di Jakarta sama di Kendari, di Jakarta sama di Bengkulu, di Jakarta sama di, jadi kayak so you expect another great things will be happening in the smaller cities in Indonesia, and beda-beda banget dan bakal seru banget lah.
Wow.
Who's actually going to win? Who's actually know exactly what to offer to that community sih.
Jadi kalau aku bisa sum up, kita melihat pandemic itu accelerate nih mobile driven solutions untuk para startup, dan kita bisa melihat ada opportunity di second dan third tier cities di Indonesia ya. Aku pengen ke Melvin.
Yes.
Melvin, you are lebih ke early stage founders.
Yeah.
Dan tadi Nazir bilang kalau misalnya later stage founders sometimes itu bisa fail juga karena problem market solutionsnya nggak pas.
Yeah.
So can you share about opportunity dan problem yang common banget ditemui di early stage founders?
Yeah, so I think early stage founder itu kan mereka itu di tahap awal banget ketika mereka start a company, right? And so typically kalau kita lihat di Indonesia itu early stage itu situasinya adalah they have a team, ya kan, ada founding teamnya, mungkin 2-3 orang, bisa sampai 5 orang, and they have an idea that they want to execute. Kemudian optionalnya they could already build an MVP gitu. So that is an early stage kayak company di mana kita already ready to or already invest in the company when they have an idea and just a team. Right? Because we at GFC, we really focus at the pre-seed and seed stage, which is the earliest stage, because at that point in time, we can also offer the most value from our side. Gitu. Because we are a 0 to 1 investor, and we help them basically come from zero, which is the idea that want to execute, or a very MVP or early stage company, into company that has very strong traction to then continue the growth and the fundraising from Series A beyond, right? Yeah. And so with regards to early stage itu, memang challenge-nya itu for Indonesian founders specifically adalah sharing a compelling storytelling and story about their company gitu. Because I think one thing that we look for in early stage companies adalah a great communicator, right? Jadi harus bisa berkomunikasi dengan sangat baik karena you need to have a very good vision going forward and be able to communicate that. So that's one part yang mungkin berhubungan lebih ke foundernya. Terus yang kedua, yang paling penting adalah modelnya sendiri. Tadi kita sempat bahas juga, untuk modelnya itu kita sangat melihat apa yang terjadi di dunia, di other markets seperti di US atau India dan China. Jadi kalau ada business model yang ditawarkan oleh sebuah founding team, kita akan langsung cek untuk mengerti bahwa business model ini apakah benar jalan di other markets, dan apakah cocok dengan Indonesia gitu. Jadi itu dua hal yang sangat penting untuk dilihat ketika di early stage, ya kan, untuk founders benar-benar melihat apakah business model mereka ini proven in other markets. Yeah. Because VC like ourselves, to be very transparent, kita sangat ngelihat apakah model ini sudah proven in other market. Nah sekarang pertanyaannya banyak founder nanya, kalau misalkan nggak ada di mana-mana gimana gitu ya kan? Kalau bisnis modelnya nggak ada di dunia, we created or invented a new business model yang unique to Indonesia gitu. Honestly bisa aja. Tapi di situ perlu pembuktian tambahan agar si investor percaya bahwa bisnis model ini nggak ada nih di mana-mana di dunia, di Indonesia ada. Kemudian jadinya harus ada bukti tambahan. Kenapa bisnis model ini akan jalan di Indonesia gitu.
Yep.
Dan bukti tambahan itu bisa dari segi customer feedback yang sangat baik di awal company-nya mulai, atau dari traction yang memang betul-betul sangat bagus gitu. Untuk give that conviction ke investor bahwa yes, there are no comparables globally, tapi our traction is really showing product market fit loh gitu. So I think itu dua hal yang paling penting at the early stage. The founding team needs to be a great communicator, to sum up, and then modelnya atau business modelnya itu harus proven in other market, atau tractionnya bisa membuktikan hal tersebut gitu.
Oke, thank you. That is a really good summary. Jadi memang sekarang tuh kita melihat banyaknya VC bubble dan ada correction ya in our valuation, dan investor lebih banyak lagi seperti Melvin bilang fokus to the right unique economics dan retention rate.
Yep.
Kalau dari Nazir nih, which Telkomsel kan invest di lebih banyak enterprises. Ada yang mau ditambahin nggak? Mungkin what are investment criteria atau investable startup yang you will want to invest in?
Okay, I think Melvin summarized it all. No. At the moment, we are in the super interesting moment of B2B's and enterprise market in Indonesia, because I think at the moment pandemic pushes everyone untuk akhirnya having much more efficiency gitu kan. I think we see all the banks closing their branches or launching the digital bank gitu kan. We see that right now FMCG is moving towards D2Cs and everything. So by them moving into that directions, itu perlu banyak yang support gitu kan, because they don't know anything, because they've been doing it for 20-30 years, apalagi yang second, third generations gitu kan. So a lot of companies needed to be there untuk akhirnya kasih guidance gitu kan. And I think we see the spending, Indonesia is one of the biggest B2B spending in Southeast Asia. Dan memang posisinya, the unique things about Indonesia is the B2B is going to be for the first time. Most of enterprise Indonesia itu going to be the first time users of that kind of software gitu kan. How at least for early stage B2B's enterprise ini tuh bener-bener gimana caranya providing the real products yang bisa works gitu kan. So bener-bener gimana caranya cari bener-bener produk yang memang bisa solve the corporate problems gitu kan. And you see all of the most profitable and top growth index and stock, the US stock and most of the tech stock and public market is the B2B software companies gitu kan. So we see kadang the retention is good on B2B companies gitu kan. If you bisa nge-upsell atau cross-sell something, lu nambah lagi deh.
Jadi mungkin di B2B startup itu lebih banyak yang bisa di-upsell buat grow the invoice value. Tapi aku suka yang tadi Nazir udah bilang, opportunities-nya memang masih besar buat kita explore masih banyak problem yang di luar Jakarta and make it tangible. Yang aku nangkep nggak cuma economic sense, tapi juga ada impact value yang dibawa oleh para startup ini sendiri ya.
Yeah, I think definitely everything in Indonesia is huge. The e-commerce penetrations and online transactions itu baru 3-4%. The rest 96% of Indonesia still doing offline. So I think apalagi B2B less than that gitu kan, 1% less. So I think banyak lah duit yang bisa didapetin sama founder Indonesia.
Kalau boleh dari Melvin nih, what's the process buat bisa dapat investasi? And you can also share one of your portfolio story.
Yeah, sure. So I think in terms of portfolio story, I think a couple of examples briefly. I think number one, it's one of my first investment as an investor, a VC investor. The company is called Pinhome, right? It was one of my first investment back in 2019. Ketika itu Dara, Dayudara, dan Ahmed, co-foundernya baru selesai dari Gojek. Dan sebulan setelah mereka keluar dari Gojek, kita ketemu dan kemudian kita decide untuk invest in Pinhome seed round.
Oh, a
gitu.
month after.
A month after,
Oh, wow.
a month after,
Okay.
a month after. Jadi di bulan mungkin Desember akhir Januari 2020, it was one of our first investment. My personal first as a GFC investor. And then the second one yang lumayan unik adalah FitHub. It's the first company where when we invest in the company, mereka profitable.
Wow.
And up until now, they are still profitable and they are growing double digits every month. And FitHub is a offline fitness chain, right? Similar to what you see in Celebrity Fitness and Fitness First, but their approach is more like Kopi Kenanga. So they're going after the masses. So they have an affordable 200,000 monthly subscription, but they have Celebrity Fitness, Fitness First quality. And so we're basically trying to mimic the Kopi Kenanga success, where they are unicorn now, targeting the mass Indonesian and offer a quality coffee. And we're doing the same thesis for fitness, health, and wellness in Indonesia, right? And then the process is we have a first call with the regional team, right, in Southeast Asia, which consists of myself and of course the broader team. We have a team of 12 in Southeast Asia. And then right after the regional team call, we will have an investment committee call, right? If we are excited about the opportunity, we can immediately schedule the investment committee call in the same week. And after that investment committee call, we'll conduct some of our due diligence as well. And then in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks, we can already offer the term sheet to the company. So the process takes around 2 to 3 weeks in total.
Only 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, from first conversation to a term sheet stage.
Oke. Tapi kan juga ada ya yang waktu itu sampai 2-3 bulan itu juga ada mungkin ya.
True. Yeah, because we focus on the earliest stage, meaning pre-seed. Tractionnya kan belum ada ya.
Iya.
Jadi there is nothing to look at from a traction point of view. We try to understand the founder and the business model. And we enter a meeting, kita juga udah prepare, meaning kita ada internally namanya pre-due diligence, meaning before if I schedule a call with you, Tamara, and you're misalkan building a coffee shop,
Yeah.
we already research and understand the coffee model and comparables globally when we enter the meeting with you. So we kind of already start the due diligence when we decide to take the call with you. And so it makes us very easy and quick when making
Yeah.
decision after meeting the founder and the company. Gitu.
I see. Gak kerasa kita memang udah ngobrol
Yeah.
banyak nih.
Yeah.
Aku pingin mungkin 1-2 kata aja terakhir untuk final tips buat para founder yang mencari investment.
Before you decide a business model or idea, please speak to a venture capital investor first. Whether
Wow.
your idea actually makes sense or not. Kenapa? Karena if you already start with an idea and you build the product, you hire the team, ternyata idenya kurang cocok sama VC investor. Sayang banget. All of the time and months you spend wasted. Why not you come to people like Nazir, right? Have a coffee, get their quick feedback untuk dapat gambaran bahwa is this the right model or idea or not? Apakah ini model yang dimauin VC atau enggak? Baru dari situ you execute and build the company, build the product, hire the team, and then you execute gitu. Jangan the other way around.
I love that. Karena kebanyakan takut.
Benar.
Tapi
Takut.
sebetulnya ngobrol dulu aja ya cari idenya.
Betul. Jangan takut, ngobrol dulu aja.
Nice. Kalau dari Nazir?
At the moment, is the first thing that you will need for founding companies is really a good partners and a great partner. So I think if you got good idea and everything right now, find a good partners, because I think it will long last and make the companies even forward, right? I think if you got good partners, you will be much more passionate, lebih seru lagi. So, but it's hard to find it gitu kan. Sedangkan right now you see that banyak banget great companies, great combos and everything. Apalagi yang sekarang teman-teman yang lagi di kuliah, lagi di tempat kerja gitu kan. Find a good brand that actually got sharp and vision yang sama and build something, because I think because it's a long game, it's a long road gitu kan. Indonesians and Asia's average is 8 to 9 years kalau misalnya mau exit gitu kan. So I think you'll be stuck with that person for the rest of your decades gitu kan. So find someone and build something, because Indonesia is waiting for your solutions.
Thank you so much Nazir dan Melvin
Thank
untuk
you.
hari
Thank you,
ini.
Tamara. Thank
What
you,
an
Tamara.
insightful
It's a great
talk.
talk. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Love it.
Yep.
Jadi untuk para teman-teman Things, aku pengen bilang stay in touch dan follow social media kita di think.id, dan juga thank you to Telkomsel as our host and sponsor for this event. Thank you on behalf
Thank you,
kepada
thank
Nazir
you.
juga. Again, see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.